Today I'm going to be showing you how to make DIY silicone hider plugs. To start, you're going to need to measure out some steel tunnels. You need the inside diameter of the tunnels to match the outside diameter of the plugs that you want to make. I want to make 1/2 inch or 12 millimeter plugs, so the inside of the tunnels have to be 12 millimeters, as you can see here that they are. Next, you're going to need a 2-part silicone. I'm using the Dragon Skin 10 Fast Cure by Smooth-On. I like it because it's certified skin safe. They actually use this in special effects makeup. I thought that was really important because I have sensitive skin. You can use whatever kind of 2-part silicone that you want. I'm also using the Smooth-On Silk Pig pigment because it works best with this and it's also certified skin safe. You can also use acrylic paint. I've tried that in the past and it worked just as well. You just want to use a very small amount. I'm also using white here because I am pretty fair skinned and I had to lighten it to match my skin tone. You can use the brown to darken it if you want, or you can just use the flesh if that matches your skin color. It's helpful to have a mirror handy so you can hold the mixing container close to your face and just see where you have to go from there. Here you can see me mixing in a little tiny bit of white. Then adding pigment is also a good way to tell whether or not your silicone is mixed thoroughly, because once there are no streaks throughout the silicone, you know that it is completely mixed all the way through and you won't have any spots that aren't going to cure correctly. Once we get that all mixed together, it's time to pour it into our steel tunnels. I set my steel tunnels on a plastic container lid. This is helpful because you're able to lift the lid and move the tunnels around, as you'll see me do later. Now you can see that there are some large bubbles that have formed in the silicone. I'm just going to use the mixing stick and pop those. And while you're pouring, it's okay if you make a mess because we're going to clean it up later. Now take one of the mixing sticks and scrape it over the top just to level them. And then here you can see me tapping the container lid onto any hard surface you can find. This just helps to bring any air bubbles that might be in the silicone to the top so that they can pop and they don't end up getting trapped in the plugs. And then just use the mixing stick and clean up any silicone that might have spilled over the edge. Okay, the silicone has been sitting for about 1/2 hour now. A good way to tell if it's completely cured is to take your mixing container and try to peel it all out. If it comes out in one big glob and there's no sticky residue left over, you know that the silicone is completely cured and you don't have to mess up your plugs by touching them or poking your finger in there. So that's just what I like to do. And then you can also reuse the mixing container if you do this. So now we're just going to take the plugs off of the container. You didn't need to use any mold release or anything because the silicone peels right off. Then peel off any of the little strands that were left over from when we over poured. You can see here that I did make a couple more plugs. I just had enough silicone left over to fill a couple more tunnels, so I went ahead and did that. I just poured them onto a piece of printer paper, which worked fine. They don't stick, they don't stain the paper or anything, they peel right off. You can see here that there's no air bubbles or anything in the tunnels because we did that tap on the table thing. And there you go. Silicone tunnels, easy, took like 40 minutes total. I'm gonna grab a plug, silicone plug that I bought from a store. I don't remember which store, but I'm going to compare the two and you can see that they do look pretty similar. They have the same general shape, they're about the same thickness. So if you like those kind of plugs, this is a good way to make your own. I hope you enjoyed the video. Here you can see all of the different sizes that I made, and here's just a little photo of me wearing the plug so you can see how close I was.